Can I ask you to please stand for the pledge? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's town board meeting. It is October 24th, 2023. First thing on our agenda tonight is to recognize an outstanding man in our community. Stanley. We call him Stan. Stanley, if you can come up.
Stan the man.
We have a proclamation for you. And I'm going to read it. Hope you don't get bored by all that. Whereas throughout its history, the town of Mount Pleasant has been blessed to have many outstanding citizens who have enriched the lives of our community and its residents. And whereas Stanley Badansky has lived in the town of Mount Pleasant for 50 years, Stan, previously a mailman with the town of Greenberg for 41 and a half years, now uses his talents to serve the town of Mount Pleasant senior community. And whereas Stan is actively involved in our community, serving as president of the Pleasant Seniors of Mount Pleasant, Stan knows many of the seniors, so much so that he will conduct wellness calls if seniors are absent from meetings. Stan is always thinking of others, sending get well, sympathy, birthday, and special anniversary cards out to seniors. And whereas Stan also serves as a Eucharistic minister for Holy Rosary and the outside guard for the Knights of Columbus and Thornwood. Stan will also drive seniors to church, visually impaired, and to doctor's appointments locally and as far as New York City. We are here today to applaud Stan, the man, Lajansky, for being elected into the Westchester Senior Hall of Fame. Now, therefore, I call for Lajansky, supervisor of the town of Mount Pleasant, to thank Stan for his dedication to the seniors of the community of Mount Pleasant, to proclaim Wednesday, October 25th, as Stanley Lajansky Day in the town of Mount Pleasant. Congratulations.
Yay.
We also have a certificate of appreciation from Westchester County Board of Legislators from Margaret Cunzio. Make sure you got recognized also. All right? Congratulations, and thank you for everything you've done and you continue to do.
Would you like a picture with the town board and the town clerk?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
And I filmed it. Oh, yeah, my grandchildren.
Yes, your grandchildren.
Yes.
Congratulations. Thanks for your hard work.
Thank you for everything you do. Thank you, Stan.
I'm not kissing.
No.
That's great.
Well deserved.
I don't know anybody who's more deserving of
Yeah.
This is an example of what makes our town great.
Yes.
This guy.
Yes.
Makes our town great.
Definitely.
Thank you, Stan.
You will.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome to
Okay.
stay for all the boring
Thank
stuff
you.
we're going to talk about.
That's all right. Now I do my other duties now. I'm now going to the Knights of Columbus.
That's
All
right.
right, Stan.
The
Thanks,
grand
Stan.
knight
Thank you.
is expecting you. That's my husband.
Tell them to send us those pictures. Stan, send us those pictures, all right?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
We're going to move on to the supervisor's report. First item is purchase order 830-23-20, repair of two driveways at 175 and 177 Lakeview Avenue due to damage caused by water main breaks in the Kensico Water District. Total cost for the repairs is $23,560. The work will be completed by the Arrow Blacktop and Masonry Company, to whom he was the lowest of the 3 bids.
Mr. Supervisor, this address is Lakeview Avenue in Valhalla, is that correct?
Lakeview Avenue, yeah, it must be Valhalla.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Lori,
Second.
second by Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, purchase order 830-23-21, repair of a driveway located at 146 Columbus Avenue due to damage caused by another water main break in the Kensico Water District.
The total,
Total cost of the repairs is $5,760. This project also would be completed by Arrow Blacktop and Masonry, to whom was the lowest of 3 bids.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Danielle,
Second.
second by Jerry. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is authorization to remove 485 Chappaqua Road from the county Sawmill Sewer District. Homeowner located at 485 Chappaqua Road requests to be removed from the county sewer district. This office is in receipt of Mrs. Deborah Gargulio's letter requesting removal from the Washington County Sewer District. Washington County Department of Environmental Facilities has provided towns with the following criteria. You have to meet this criteria to be taken off of the county sewer district. Property must be 40,000 square feet or greater in area. The property listed is .92 acres. It's 40,000 square feet. Therefore, the property meets this criteria. The nearest public sanitary sewer main must be greater than 100 feet from any point of the property line. There are no sanitary sewers in the immediate area. Therefore, the property meets this criteria. The property cannot have been subject to any action by Washington County Department of Health within the past 5 years. The town is unaware of any Washington County Department of Health actions against this property. Subject to the confirmation criteria, the above Washington County, the town recommends removal of this parcel from the county sewer district.
meeting that it pertaining to all the criteria, I would move for approval, please.
Motion by Lori,
Second?
second by Danielle. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Authorization to apply retroactive nonprofit exemption to Spectrum Designs Foundation. This is a company in Pleasantville. They hire special needs individuals, and they applied for a grant. They applied for the exemption through the state and all, and now we have to recognize it retroactively because we originally put them on the tax rolls. So this resolution will be granting to apply the retroactive tax exemption with the town approval.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Jerry,
Second.
second by Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is a street closing permit, Beverly Road and Tuxedo Place. Saturday, October 28th, 2023, from 2 p.m. till 8 p.m. No rain date is being requested.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Danielle,
Second.
second by Lori. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. On the receiver of taxes report. On the latest interest. We get a list of all the receipts from taxes. You'll see a interest rate.
I don't see an interest rate,
Yeah, I
but
don't either.
We got 2 pages of receipts
yes.
from the receiver and taxes report that'll be filed.
Okay.
At this time, we have business on the floor. You're welcome to speak at this time.
Thank you.
Everybody in Mount Pleasant wants to hear you.
You just state your name and address, please. Sure. Alex Nymphius. Good evening, Supervisor Fulgenzi and Council. I just want to let you know, as you might know me, I've been a resident here for over 40 years. My children went to school here. And one of the things that I'm bringing to your attention is that I feel as a voter that it's one of the most sacred privileges that we have as American citizens. I'm a volunteer with New York Citizens Audit, and I am not an official spokesperson. I'm here to give you some information that has been published, that are reports on research that have been done for the 2020 and the 2022 elections. That's the general elections in New York State. You have copies. These findings are based on thousands of hours of research by hundreds of people just like me and others. For an official response, I would like to specific questions regarding anything of these findings. I would like to provide you with the written answers. So once we all begin to speak tonight, if you have any questions and you would like to have answers, we'd be more than happy to answer them. I'm here to tell you that the New York State voter, which is the NYS voter database, has been mathematically manipulated. The evidence of this is triple-blind peer review and published in the Journal of Information Warfare. This past May by Andrew Parkett, who's got a PhD, and I can give you his website that you can actually look up all his information. Just the fact that these algorithms exist on our voter database is not only illegal, but it destroys the security, fairness, and the voter integrity. It's a major breach of New York State. Fairness and equity are destroyed because the algorithms allow for manipulation of the voters' records, which opens up the door for invalid and illegal votes to be cast. Fairness and equity are destroyed because each of these seemingly invalid and illegal votes dilutes the value of the individual eligible voter. Westchester County had 140% voter participation, which means that there are extra votes, extra ballots that were slipped into the election. If you think our county was bad, Nassau County has 155% voter participation, and it's the same story. The knowledge we have gained in the last couple of years can't even begin to express to you in just my minutes to talk. Therefore, we'd like to meet with you and discuss our findings in more detail so that we will better understand why an audit of the New York State 2022 general election is paramount to having fair and equitable elections. If you have any questions, I would be very happy to answer them. And we're going to the polls, as we know just now, and we have a lack of confidence in our elections. We are hoping that you will help us remedy this, and that we hope to have you support our resolution that we've just gave to you to look over. And I want to thank you allowing me to talk this evening.
Has this information been shared with the Westchester County Board of Elections?
Yes.
It has. Is there any response from them?
Specifically.
Come to the mic, please.
Oh, sure, sorry. There were 27 counties that were, we served a subpoena to last year, including the New York State Board of Elections, May of 2022, and there has been no response. May 1st of 2023, our team presented to the Albany, the board, the election committee in the Assembly and Senate, but they were also diverted with budget talks, so not all of them attended the presentation. We have submitted our 2022 results to the Board of Elections, the specific department that would receive for the 2022 general election, our findings of over 5 million illegal duplicate registrations. They did not respond to us, so we have submitted that to the Department of Justice and the FBI as well. Yes.
Thank you.
But there has been no direct response, other than some small things that have been in the press, but nothing significantly to engage us, to go over all of the illegal registrations with us, nothing. Thank you.
Is there a process to audit the state or the counties or?
In the election law, there is a process, I believe, but none that is done regularly.
This should be a good reason to audit, I would
It
imagine.
would be a very good reason to audit. Sorry.
What was your name?
I'm Stephanie. I actually don't live in the town of Mount Pleasant. I have
okay.
a lot of friends in the
That's
area
fine.
I'm representing.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Thank you. I'll speak later.
Alex was first.
I've been to a lot of town board presentations lately, but there's never been hugging and kissing.
Small
You should come to
town.
You should come to our work sessions.
Thank you.
Okay.
If you can just state your name, please.
Yes, my name is Susan Cadu. I don't care, am I close enough here? I am a volunteer for New York Citizens Audit, but not an official spokesperson. I was born in Westchester County, and as a matter of fact, I worked right here at the Westchester Medical Center for 30 years. In the mid-2000s, I took the Lyme vaccine, and within a couple of weeks, I was getting neurological issues with my forearms and my hands. And within a short time after that, I ended up developing 3 autoimmune diseases that I am still plagued with daily. Because of that, in September of 2021, when the mandate for healthcare workers, the vaccine mandate for healthcare workers came down, I refused to get the vaccine and I lost my career. Yeah, okay. Once the depression and the anxiety passed a bit, I ended up looking into how can this happen in this country, and I started to volunteer for New York Citizens Audit because I really do believe that we have a solution here. What New York Citizens Audit has found is that the laws pertaining to our New York State voter roll database are not being followed. This calls into question the validity of every single election, including the election that is going to start early voting this weekend. The legal standard for a certifiable election is based on 3 tenets of election law. Voter rolls must be accurate, votes counted must be from eligible voters, and the number of votes counted must equal the number of voters. That's just common sense, but that's not what our voter rolls seem to be showing. Our research has identified over 5.1 million registrations that appear to be in violation of New York State and federal election law. 5.1 million registrations. That represents 25% of the registrations in the New York State database. What would you do if your bank account was off by 25%? And what would the IRS do if your tax return was off by 25%? This is a bigger question. Of these 5.1 million registrations, over 1.5 million have been purged, but they have no purge date, which is a requirement by law. Without a purge date, the registrations are available to have votes assigned to them at any time for any election, again, including the one that's going to be starting this Saturday. Election law requires that the New York State Board of Election has to consolidate all 62 county rolls into a single statewide database and assign each voter a single unique state voter ID number, which is like a social security number, and we all have them if we vote. We're supposed to have one if we vote. It is against the law to have duplicate registrations in the state voter rolls, but we have found over 1.4 million registrations that appear to be illegal duplicates in the New York State voter database. The simplest database software includes a feature called data validation, and it generates a warning when the data being entered is erroneous or duplicated or missing critical elements. This extremely common feature that we all use whenever you're signing up for anything online would prevent these illegal duplicate registrations and would catch categories such as absent or incomplete address information, which is required by law and needed by the Postal Service. And it would also catch registrations with inaccurate birth dates, such as voters who are older than the oldest person known to be alive in the United States, which we have them, or too young to register to vote, or too young to vote, but they voted anyway. We've even found registrations for entities that cast votes before they were even born. Is there any reason that this should not be looked at? It's horrifying. We found 712,000 purge registration records that were never even active. 712,000 records. That's a lot. That's a lot of work to do. Who did this? This is a fun one. We found over 625,000 more registrations than there are voting age citizens in just 6 counties. Not registered to vote, but voting age citizens in 6 counties. There are more 625,000 more registrations. In Manhattan, which is New York County, in the 2020 general election, there were over 195,000 votes cast that just disappeared. They are in the New York County voter database in Manhattan. They're in that voter database, but they are not in the New York State Board of Elections database. The Board of Elections' own records reflect that those 195,000 cast votes just disappeared. And that's just one county. We have 62 counties in New York. We have found problems in all of the counties that responded to our FOIL requests. And yet, the New York State Board of Election went ahead and certified the 2020 election, and then even after they got our information from the 2020, they went ahead and certified the 2022 general election. How do you certify something that is uncertifiable? And why would they keep certifying elections after they've been formally presented with the data that proves the New York State voter roll database has been breached and our elections cannot be legally certified? We don't know, but it needs to stop if we are ever going to be able to live again under the representative form of government that was established by our founding fathers. So we're asking that you please help us by signing our resolution for an audit of the 2022 general election. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any
I find
questions?
your statistics overwhelming.
So do we.
And I will spend some time and really read these and really spend a lot of conscious effort to figure out where I stand in this. And I know where I stand. It's not for public knowledge, but the bottom line is we're here as a town board that protects the integrity of everyone in this town as best we can. People do disagree with us, and that is fine. However, when it comes to election law, it is something that is above the town board, but we will look into it. I promise you, we will do the best that we can. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Again, you're a unique town board.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Michael Capalbo. My family moved to Valhalla in 1969. Before this building was built, I watched them build this. We moved here when the aerators were still going. My parents lived here, I lived here, and now my daughter lives here. My parents are still here. They're in Kensico Cemetery, though. I'm a graduate of Valhalla High School, so I have over 50 years connection to this town. So that's why it's meaningful for me to talk to you guys. And I realize, you know, you're not the election board, but we need as many people to bring this up because this affects everybody. I am not an official spokesman. I am a volunteer. I've been with the New York Citizens Audit for 2 years, and now we're going around presenting. So I'm going to read some stuff that's going to reiterate what you've heard already, but let me first say that we want you to know this: the data that we're talking about here is not our data. This is the state and county data for New York State, right? So this is their data. This isn't our data. Our data researchers are highly educated professionals with decades of hands-on database experience, including a college professor who teaches databases. The researchers have found that New York Citizen Voter Database has been breached, and the data has been manipulated by sophisticated, complicated, unnecessary mathematical algorithms. The voter database has been so hopelessly corrupted that, to describe it in legal terms, it is no longer secure, and there is a total loss of control, making it not suitable to use to certify an election. The evidence of these algorithms has been triple-blind, peer-reviewed, and published in the Journal of Information Warfare in May of this year by Dr. Andrew Paquette. He's a PhD. Just the fact that these algorithms exist in our database is not only illegal, but they destroy the security, the fairness, and the rights of the voters. These are considered a major breach in federal cybersecurity terms. Quoting Dr. Paquette, they can be covertly used to tag fraudulent records for use. These algorithms allow for manipulation of the voters' records, which opens the door for inserting invalid votes. So basically, they put a lot more in there, which they can then use for whatever purposes. We have seen this very thing with 338,000 more votes cast than voters in 2020. This can only be accomplished by assigning invalid votes to these irregular or excess registrations. Created by who? Whoever has severely breached our databases has implemented these algorithms. They obviously know that the algorithm, which when used in reverse, so to speak, becomes the key needed to locate these obfuscated, irregular, excess, highly questionable registrations. So they can use the algorithm to find the extra votes and then use it to manipulate. Who did this? Who paid for it? Why did they put it into use? We don't know this. Was it somebody on the inside? Is it an external result of hacking? Is it a foreign operator, nation? We don't know who. We don't know when, but we can maybe guess, right? We have submitted our findings to state authorities in August. We have had no response to our demand for a line-by-line explanation of all the 5 million lines of data. But there's more, far more than we can present here in the interest of time. For this reason, we have prepared summary reports and detailed reports, which we can provide you. I think you may have provided some of them already. And we ask you to scour them and understand the scope and impact of these findings. We ask that you consider our resolution, which we have provided. It doesn't cost the taxpayers of the town anything. We are doing the hard work ourselves. We're volunteers, and we've been doing it for a while. And with a lot of, we've been attacked. There's things that have happened to us for doing this, but this applies to all New Yorkers regardless of your party or your beliefs, right? If you can't trust the elections, you don't have a country, you don't have a democracy. So it's important. We are here making similar presentations to counties and towns and cities across the state. Many agree and have already signed. We would like you to express your support for us. If you need more information, you can go to auditny.com, and you can get answers to your specific questions by our executive team, which is also volunteers, and I don't want to give you any information that would be incorrect, because some of the people have more in-depth examination. And just basically on behalf of all the New York Citizen Audit volunteers across the state, we want to thank you for your time and consideration and service to your community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
My name is Stephanie. I too am a volunteer with New York Citizens Audit. I am not an official spokesperson. Our team has gathered here tonight to ask you to support our efforts. We've been working diligently for 2 years to try to make sense of what's happened here in New York State. The narrative is, oh, it's a deep blue state. That's how New York is going to vote. My question is, why is it any state is colored in any color? Why is it that any election is predetermined by a pundit on TV or a political strategist? That should be decided by we the people. That's what our Constitution has written and allowed for. that we, the sovereign, are here to decide through our elections who represents us, what laws are made for us to follow. So we here ask you to support this resolution in the spirit of that Constitution and in the spirit of the thousands of hours that our volunteers have put to work. And I thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
May I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Can I go back to Alex's statement that there were 140% voters in Westchester County voted in the 2022 election? 2020. Okay. Okay, so we're not sure about 2022, and
We didn't run that analysis for 2022.
We've been working on this in 2020 more.
okay, I understand that, but my question is, how would you get that information from Westchester County?
It's right on the, we got that
So
one.
it's when you compare the county voter roll database to the state voter roll database, that's where the percentage discrepancy comes.
Okay, thank you for that information, I appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate this. We will obviously give this very serious consideration. I think we're all a bit surprised to hear these numbers, but we will definitely be reviewing this with council also. Okay.
And
Yep.
to let you know, there are 52 towns across the state that have already signed a resolution in support.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Okay. Yeah.
Did.
I think so.
Sounds good to me. Good evening, everyone. Dominic Vita, 156 Pythian Avenue. I'm going to make this short. Darius, you could set the clock, but it's all good. I'm here because we need your support. We've asked for it before. A couple of years ago, we submitted a petition. Those of us who live on Pythian Avenue, Belmont Road, Rutledge Avenue, Phillip Place, West Stevens Avenue, Joyce Road. That neighborhood is getting inundated with cut-through traffic. We explained this a couple of years ago. We're here to explain it again. I'm not here representing anyone but myself. However, I talk to my neighbors weekly, daily sometimes, about this issue. There are about 50 of us on a blast email chain, some of which you've seen in the past, who are very concerned. I'm here to ask for your engagement as a board on this issue, which I feel we have not gotten adequately in the past. Specifically, we need a commitment, a firm commitment, to permanently close Belmont Road at Route 9A and West Stevens Avenue and Old Sawmill River Road. And we specifically will ask for and need a connector road that connects from Route 9A to Hospital Road in connection with the North 80, before they break ground, in connection with that construction. Super important for both of those things to happen. Super important to ensure we have your engagement on this, involvement in this. Things have gone before the planning board. There was a site application that was just submitted. Site application, I raised some questions there, even though under open meetings law, I'm not allowed to speak. I raised some questions, which they were gracious to take, about the process, about whether or not the town board had actually approved a master development plan, which we're still waiting on, and also a site application that was not in connection with what has been seen in the findings plan in the seeker. The site application was not consistent with that. And so one of the reasons that we really need the town board's examination of things and focus on things is that one of the things that they're not doing, that they have stated they won't do, is a connector road in connection with what they are calling Phase 1A of that site application. It's really important to ensure, this is not their first rodeo. They're coming in, they've developed before. It's really important to ensure that when they come here, they know that they can't just roll us over and can't just get what they want. That we have been involved in a process for years with the seeker and the FEIS, and we want to make sure that our neighborhood is protected. And there are mitigation measures in that seeker to do that. We need the town board to push as much as they can on our behalf as our elected officials, and also to work with the planning board to ensure there's institutional knowledge as to what's been asked for and what's needed, in order to make sure that that neighborhood is protected. Thank you.
On
Thank
the
you.
connector road, we have asked that the connector road be done from day one.
Right. And
The
first.
issue is,
Yeah, first is important.
Right.
Yeah.
the issue is, it got back to me that they said initially we're gonna get a easement through, what's that?
Skyline Drive? or West
Skyline
Street?
Drive,
Yeah.
so that all construction and all will come up through, from 9A up through to Hospital Road to the property, and nothing will be directed to the other roads. This is our dream. As far as Belmont, from day one, we said that we want to do something with Belmont where it would strictly be an emergency access there at Belmont. The thing with West Stevens yet, I talked about this the other day, that until we get 9A open completely, it's hard to tell what's going to happen with the traffic. Will it get better or will it get worse? We don't know. We don't want to jump to things. I know it's very inconvenient for people to have the traffic coming through there. We put up signs on West Stevens, we put them on Joyce Place, a number of areas to try to get no traffic, no commercial traffic unless local delivery, to try to curtail some of that. To get people to follow signs all the time does not always work. Just closing roads is not always the answer, because you have to worry about the flow of traffic. How's it going to go if you close something? So Belmont will be closed except to emergency traffic. West Stevens will be looked at as, if the traffic continues to go that way, we have to do something with that. Again, you have to allow emergency access. The fire departments want to be able to get to the properties. God forbid you had to get there. So it's not that easy just to close roads. And you may think that we're ignoring this, but we are not. We've done studies and everything else. And I was driving around there the other day, just seeing how the traffic flow was. I got it at a good time, it was quiet, but I want to go there rush hour, morning and evening, just to see how it is. But believe me, we are not ignoring the request over there.
It's been going on for a couple of years. The cut-through traffic was a problem before any of the development there. It's going to be a bigger problem, we believe, when Amazon opens, which it would be great to understand when that's going to happen. I think February, but it'd be good to get confirmation on that. And with North 80 breaking ground soon, it's going to be a problem. And if cars are going around the neighborhood and going up Bradhurst, that could also be a problem for us.
No, definitely.
And for everybody else who uses Bradhurst to get to and from work, to and from CCD, et cetera, it could be a real problem. And so, you know, and a lot of those vehicles are coming off of 287 as well when they come up 9A. So they really do need a way to get to that site that does not take them through and around our neighborhood, because that is going to be detrimental to our neighborhood. And it's proven to be detrimental so far, where a lot of traffic now that can't go up Belmont is using Old Sawmill River Road to West Stevens. And it's hard to change driver behavior, we know that. And David Smith has done the traffic studies in the past that have shown on average 1,000 cars a day are cutting through, which is huge, before any of this other traffic that's anticipated to come from these other things. And let's not forget, Westchester Medical Center is expanding again. So, and we're blaming that or putting that as the reason why so many cars are cutting through our neighborhood. They're going to and from the hospital. I understand that. And there are going to be more now. But now we're going to have Amazon, which could have additional cars, vans, semis, and we're going to have North 80, which could have additional vehicles, including construction trucks, that we do not. They have no business being there, of course, because of the signs, but like you said, they don't follow the signs. And so it's going to be really important. We appreciate your past engagement. We know what's on the website and what David Smith has done with his plans, and we think that's great. But we are feeling the effects. There are people here who live on the corner of West Stevens and Phillip Place, and you know, their child was almost hit when a car went past the bus. If that person lived in our neighborhood, that would not happen. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to ensure that our quality of life is not impacted. We're trying to ensure that our neighborhood stays as peaceful as it once was, and avoid all of this cut-through traffic so our kids, our seniors, and ourselves, my dog too, doesn't get hit by a car or worse, or something else happens. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Robert Arcieri. I live on 101 Phillip Place. It was my son who almost got hit by a car as somebody had flying down the road, went right past the stop sign, no cares in the world of who lives on the block or what kids are out. It's not only the cars on the road, it's the speeding tremendously, even the police, without lights on or any indication that there was even an emergency, fly down the road at top speeds. The garbage out the windows repeatedly, from beer bottles to Wendy's to McDonald's wrappers, garbage repeatedly being picked up by my family, by my neighbors. The speeding is outrageous. The cars are outrageous. If I knew it was going to be like this, I would have never moved into this area. I moved there because I was like, oh, wow, I'm next to my family. It's nice, quiet, Spirit Street, wide street. I pay good taxes. I expected it to be normal. This is outrageous. This is crazy. I really appreciate you listening to me, and you at least hear what I have to say. I'm glad that you guys are taking this in consideration. It means a lot to me that you do something about this. My kid's going to get hurt. It's only a matter of time. Other children play on the street. It's only a matter of time. It's just too much. I really thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming out. Thank you.
I had asked for upping the police presence throughout town. We've done it the past couple of weeks. I've also asked for additional police patrolling in that area. I'd have to do some follow-up to see what they're doing, because they had promised me that that's what they were going to be doing in that area, but I will follow up on that.
Hey, my name is Mike Gray. I live at 151 Pythian, and this is an issue with me too, but that's not why I'm here. I'm here for 637 Commerce Street. I'm trying to develop parking next door between me and the Barley House, and it's cost me over $30,000 so far, and I've gotten nowhere. In fact, I'm going backwards. Right now, there's plans for me to only develop half of it, which is, I decided today, I don't want that. You've already rejected the first proposal, and I spoke to a lawyer today, and if that's the way I have to go, that's what I'm going to do. Because I want to develop the property. It's only going to improve the town, which needs parking, and you know, I want your cooperation, but I'm not getting it. I had to give the town last week another $5,000 for the environmentalist who's causing all the problems. So I don't know what we can do about it, but something has to be done.
So we can just bring it up again to our town engineer.
Well, last time I was here, he was right there, and you know, I said, you know all about this, and nothing happens. You know, I mean, I know who he is. I speak to him. Nothing happens. You know, I've spent over $30,000 already for nothing. You know, where's it going to end?
Are you before the planning board?
Excuse me?
Are you before the planning board for this application?
Yeah. Hudson Engineering is who I'm using.
Oh, we can look into the issue. I'm not aware of the project, but I can find out tomorrow morning if you want.
Yeah, I know what we're talking about. I know it's been discussed.
Right in between?
Is there,
This land here?
There's I think it's a sewer main in there?
Yeah, right. So you're saying that this runoff water that goes through my property is more important than anything that I want. That's what this environmentalist is saying. You know, oh, it needs sunlight. It hasn't seen sunlight since it's been there because the tree's there. There's never been sunlight, the sun never hits the water. I don't know what he's talking about. But whatever he says, you listen to. And whatever I say, nobody listens to.
Well, it's not us directly involved with this, but we do rely on our town engineer to give us direction on these things. Open streams is an issue because we've had people close them up and cause.
You know,
other
he says,
issues.
oh, people want to see water. Nobody's ever seen that. Nobody's ever seen it. I mean, you can't see
I'm
it.
not talking about seeing the water. I'm talking about open streams in the town of Mount Pleasant that have been closed up and piped.
No, I know that, I know that.
Have caused other drainage issues in the town that we end up, the taxpayers end up paying for to repair. So, we'll talk to David Smith and see if there's another way around this. I know you've been dealing with this for quite a
I
while.
mean, it's been years. I mean, and now they tell me I can't rent the two units in my building because I don't have enough parking. Well, I've been trying to do the parking for years, and you're costing me money every month. So.
Was there an option? Did he give you an option?
No option. Can't rent it. That's it.
I mean, as far as the access to the parking, was there another option? that you
Yeah, there was an
suggested?
option with the less parking, which would be a waste of my money. You know, I had 13 spots, they put me down to 9.
Did they give you an option on access to the rear parking?
What do you mean?
Well, you want to go through the side yard there where the stream is and the sewer main.
That's gonna be parking. It's 13 spots.
On top of the sewer and the
Yeah,
stream?
yeah.
Is your building where Rebel Yoga is?
Yes. And the one next door, and both of them. So.
Oh, why
I
don't
have
we look at
access.
this, because this is before the planning board, not before the town board. I think we need to talk, this project has never come before the town board.
Well, I spoke to him about it a couple of weeks ago.
I'm sure, yeah, I may not have been here, but what we will do is I will talk to Dave Smith tomorrow, and we can get back in touch with you tomorrow. But tonight, the town board doesn't approve this project, it's before the planning board.
I'm not asking you to approve it. I'm just saying, I'm supposed to come here to voice my grievances, and that's what I'm doing.
I was
So
saying, we're gonna look into it.
Right.
All right.
We're gonna-
So,
There's nothing else we can do right now.
well, I appreciate it.
Thank you,
All right.
thank you for coming here
All
and
right,
sharing.
Good, thank you.
Thank
We'll-
you.
Thank you.
We'll get back to you.
Good evening, Patricia Halpin, 156 Pythian Avenue. Thank you for your time this evening. I also live in the same neighborhood that's being impacted by all the development that's happening in our neighborhood. So we moved in, it's a beautiful little neighborhood with all single-family homes, beautiful lawns taken care of by everybody. People have their dogs, little children, older people out walking, etc. It's been impacted by the traffic. In addition to the traffic, the people stop at the stop sign, and as Bob had mentioned, they throw their garbage out the window. And, well, that's our neighborhood. It's not a garbage receptacle. We have been impacted by Amazon, and now we're going to be impacted by North 80. So we're just here asking as a community, in a very small little section of our little hamlet that's being smushed in all ends. And unfortunately, there's just a tremendous amount of traffic that goes through, and it is at the turning over time at the hospital, and it's by the people using it as a cut through to go to wherever they're going, 9A. So we're asking you to really keep this into consideration. And for instance, on Halloween, we have more than 300 kids that come to our house. That tells you that it's a community. It is a place for families. This is not multifamily apartments. This is a community. So we're asking to keep the integrity of that. And then I'll just ask one question of Mr. Fulgenzi, that you and I exchanged emails, and thank you for getting back to me so quickly. You impressed me. And it was a statement that you had made on Facebook, and it wasn't exactly the same information that was expressed by the representatives of North 80, and that was that the apartments that would be there would be, yes, smaller in size, and that would be 1-bedrooms and studios, but you cannot limit that to who the applicants can be to live there.
We actually looked into that today, and we did clarify that part of the zoning restricts it to exactly that. Darius, we had talked about this
Yeah, I
earlier.
mean, this is a complicated issue with respect to fair housing and the like, but this is a specific development for specific use related to the pharmaceutical uses there, the hospital uses there, and our law provides that they're gonna be built for the specific uses on campus. Whether someone believes that that may be a violation of the Fair Housing Act, you know, that's a complicated question, but that's what the law is for. That's what the environmental analysis was for. So if something changes in a few years, we'll have to address it then, but right now, our expectation is that that will occur. This will be housing for the facility, the hospital, and the school, the campus.
That was the intent of the town board in approving this process.
Right.
Not open to the public.
And was limited, if you, I don't know if you recall, they wanted 660 units or something beforehand.
Yep.
That was specifically denied by this board, saying, no, we will only allow 98, I think it was.
98.
Small units to limit issues. There was issues with the school. There's a study that was done too, to limit it, to ensure that the school children were, I think it was less than 3, even if these small units would be 3 only kids. So that was all studied for multiple years, and ultimately the EIS and the finding statement all came to the conclusion that it would not have an impact on the school. There's no intention of having this be rented to anyone in particular, you know, of any type of affordability, no, and the big A, but obviously it will be affordable to the people that work there, the nurses, students, etc.
So I think that what was addressed at the planning board would be, that would be awesome and really convenient for those who are working there, because the commute would be wonderful. Walk down the street and you're at your place of work. However, there was the law that prevented that from happening, to be able to just say the only people who could apply to live here and reside here are the folks that work here or their families.
Well, it's a complicated federal statute about what that impacts, but you know, I don't think that's going to be decided today of who can live there, whether it violates the Fair Housing Act or not. They're going to market it as they market, as a private developer markets it to their people that work there, to the hospital, to students, etc. You do see a lot of times they have student housing, similar situation to that.
Sure. Yeah, you're correct. They will market it the way they want, but there are no restrictions on who could go in there and live there. So I just don't think that we could be above the law, and I think it was the attorney for the developer who spoke in front of the
Again,
planning board,
The Fair Housing Act is a complicated statute.
as he mentioned.
Yeah, so him saying something on a response on the cuff, I remember.
That wasn't off the cuff.
Okay, well, I talked to him today too. He was asked the question by the planning board chairman, can you limit this specifically to people that work and live there? He goes, no, the Fair Housing Act doesn't allow it.
Correct. Yes.
If that's the end, if that's a correct statement in the law, that's a correct statement in the law. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna opine on that right now.
Yeah, I'm just saying that, you know, we just need to be mindful of these things, that sometimes we think that we're in control of things where we're not. And I'm just saying this is another huge development that's in our backyard, and there would be an impact to the resources available to us here in Mount
And
Pleasant.
the
we should be mindful
residential
of that.
housing was specifically limited for the purpose
Yep.
of not impacting the school district, not overloading the road, everything.
Yep, as much as
That's why it was
possible.
studied for 2.5 years or 3 years.
Correct. Yeah.
Between us, there was a lot of consideration on this particular piece of property.
Yeah.
It's a county-owned piece of property. We were afraid of what could happen to that property.
Yes.
And what it could be used for.
Yeah.
Which we do not want, which would blow away anything about, worried about school children or anything else. So we tried to restrict this as best we could
Yes.
within the parameters of the law.
And we appreciate
And that's what
that.
we did.
Yes.
And we will continue, once phase 1 is completed, there'll be another analysis before phase 2 moves forward.
Right.
And if we find that certain impacts are not what we wanted, there will be other pushbacks on the project.
Good.
We all agreed on that, and that's what we intend to do.
Yeah, and they already changed it from Phase 1 to Phase 1A, so I'd just be cautious of what they say. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else like to address the board? I appreciate all your input, and we will definitely be working on the voter situation here. We'll be discussing it at our next work session, and we'll let you know what we come up with. All right?
Yep.
Moving on, I would go to Emily, our town clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I hope this is on.
Are your lights on?
This light's on.
Here, this works.
Yeah, it works.
You got it.
Okay.
We'll make copies.
We're
if
good,
we need
thank
them.
you.
Yep, thank
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night, thank you.
Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you
Good
all.
evening, Emily.
Was going to say thank you all for coming, but they left. Town board meeting, town clerk's report, town board meeting, October 24th, 2023. Received and filed the Pecanigo Fire District 2024 final budget and the Valhalla Fire District 2024 final budget. The notice of the 2024 budget public hearing from the Newcastle Fire District, and received and filed the notice of on-premises liquor license transfer application from Doherty Apple Hawthorne LLC, doing business as Applebee's Neighborhood Grill and Bar at 20 Sawmill River Road, Hawthorne. Received 4 planning board resolutions: Gate of Heaven Mausoleum secret negative declaration, Gate of Heaven Mausoleum site plan approval, 2 Broadway second floor addition site plan approval, and Bellevue Avenue steep slope permit. Received 1 zoning board resolution from Deport Realty Corporation, 60 Leroy Avenue, Valhalla. 4 notices of claim from Michael Ferrugia and Jessica Ferrugia versus Town of Mount Pleasant, Paul Molinari and Sonia Molinari versus Town of Mount Pleasant, Deborah Everts versus Town of Mount Pleasant, and Jane McCallion versus Town of Mount Pleasant. Also received and filed 26 certiorari's and 150 small claims.
So item 7 and 8 and 9 will be referred to our town attorney. You got some work ahead of you, Darius.
Sounds like a lot of tax certs to address.
Thank you. Moving on to our council reports. Councilman Soliano.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My reports from the Controller's Office. This is the Controller's memo. The following claims are submitted for town board approval. From the category of Justice Court, $5,480. From Town Clerk, $1,757. From Attorney, $27,471. From the category Public Safety, $5,517.36. From the category of Parks, $4,774. From Youth Programs, $5,703. From Youth Day Camps, $1,600. From the Planning Board, $1,000. From the category of General Repairs, $1,500. From Kensico Capital Projects, $1,087.50. From the Mount Pleasant Consolidated Sewer District, $11,042.66. From the category of Joint Water District Fund, $8,063.04. From Mechanical Water District Number 1, $7,019.92. From Kensico Water, $25,544.25. Trust and Agency Escrow, $2,025. The grand total, ladies and gentlemen, is $109,584.73. It's signed Brian Keneally, our Controller. I respectfully ask the board for a motion of approval, please.
Motion by Tom,
Second?
second by Jerry. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. The second item, Mr. Supervisor, is authorization to renew the Aller contract for ACA assistance. This is authorization to renew the Aller Group contract, formerly called CPI for ACA assistance. The contract will cover the 2023 and 24 reporting calendar year payroll and filings and will be completed through the first quarter of 2025. There is no change in fees from the prior year. $10,000 is the annual fee. I move for approval for this authorization to renew this contract, please.
Motion by Tom,
Second.
second by Danielle. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
I thank you. Have an excellent evening. Thank you very much.
Okay. Councilwoman Zano.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Good evening, fellow board members, Town of Mount Pleasant. I have one item from our police chief, authorization to hire part-time dispatcher effective October 18th, 2023. Mr. Jacob Gray Tussle of Cortland Manor, effective 10/18/23 at the prescribed hourly rate. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Danielle.
Second.
Ooh.
That's okay, tie.
I'm going to give it to Lori this time.
Oh, thank you.
Definitely give it a Lori.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Shulman.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Good evening, fellow board members, Town of Mount Pleasant residents. My report is from Parks and Recreation. I'd like to begin with a resolution by John Petroselli. This is purchase order number 70-23-78, playground surfacing. This is 100 cubic yards of engineered wood fiber playground surfacing. Delivered, it's $29.50 a yard. Total cost $2,950 as per the Westchester County contract. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Jerry.
Second.
You guys are great.
Tom, you're going to keep going until you get it, right?
Oh, yes.
Danielle.
Photo finish.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Second item is, again, from John Petroselli, a purchase order 70-23-79, Community Center Flat Roof Repair. The vendor is East Coast Roofing, and this is removing existing flat roof and installing a new GAF TPO roof with installation. Total cost is $32,400. And move for approval, please.
Motion by Jerry.
Second.
Second by Lori. Heard you loud and clear.
I'm afraid to second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And my next resolution is from Doug Scott, Superintendent of Recreation. This is the authorization to hire permanent part-time seasonal recreation staff for events. This is an authorization to hire, rehire, and continue employing 30 permanent part-time seasonal recreation assistants as on-call staff to be used for special events and recreation programs. The hourly rate ranges from $15 to $22 per hour. Staff would not exceed 800 hours a year, and there's a listing of quite a few events that these individuals would be hired to cover. These is about 15 events altogether, and any other new events. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Jerry.
Second.
Second by Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
I have two announcements from the Recreation Department. I'd like to begin with our Halloween Happening event, which is for grades kindergarten to 5. This is happening on Monday, October 30th at 4:30 p.m. at the American Legion on Garrigan Avenue. The event will include arts, crafts, magic, and snacks. Tickets are on sale both online and at the Recreation Department office. And the second event, which just I think was published today, was our first annual Scarecrow Festival, Sunday, November 5th from 12 noon to 2:30 p.m. That's going to be held at the Mount Pleasant Community Center. Posts and hay will be provided. Bring your own clothes and accessories. There'll be a food truck and face painting. And let's see again. That's and also the scarecrows, the final products will be posted around the town after completion.
Oh, I love that.
So those are the two announcements that we have from the Recreation Department. And before I finish, I just want to wish everyone a very happy and healthy and safe Halloween. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you. Councilwoman Smalley.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This evening's report is from Richard Banquet, Superintendent of Highways. The first item is Purchase Order 50-23-15, Deerfield Lane South Drainage Project. The vendor is Peter J. Landy of Bradhurst Avenue in Hawthorne. The amount per the estimate is $306,200. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Lori.
Second.
Gotta stop this. Jerry, I got you, Jerry.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Very good, thank you. Again, from Richard Banquet, Superintendent of Highways, we have Purchase Order 50-23-16. This is a guide rail, and they will be placed on Hillside Avenue and Livingston Street in Valhalla. The unit price was $13,635.70 for Hillside Avenue and $2,578 for Livingston Street. So the total amount due per the quote is $16,213.70. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Lori,
Second.
second by Danielle. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. This is from David Barker, who is the Director of Fleet Operations, and from Richard Banquet, Superintendent of Highways. It's Purchase Order 50-23-17, 2 2025 Highway Department plow trucks. The vendor is Deal & Sons, DBA New York Freightliner. The amount is $340,094.66 per truck. The entire cost will be $680,189.32. For those of you who are aware of our Highway Department and our Director of Fleet Operations, David Barker, he does everything possible to maintain our equipment. However, at this time, things do have to be replaced. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Lori,
Second?
second by Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. The next item, again, and the last item for the evening, is David Barker, Director of Fleet Operations, and Richard Banquet together again. Purchase Order 50-23-18, 2025 VacCon Hydro Excavator. Again, it's a big town. We have a lot of area to cover, and this equipment is essential. The amount, as per the quote, is $597,934.94. Yes, I do get a little bit surprised, but they are expensive. Move for approval, please.
There is a grant.
Yeah.
Yes.
A grant connected with that covers about 3/4 of the cost.
Yes, there is a grant, and it is also, we competitively bid with Onondaga County, and to get the best price possible, and the vendor is Deal & Sons, DBA New York Freightliner. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Lori,
Second.
second by Jerry. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. I do not believe we have anything for town attorney
Nothing
this
today,
evening.
Mr. Supervisor.
Our schedule of meetings, our next work session will be Wednesday, 11/8/2023 at 7 p.m. That's due to Election Day on the 7th. Business session will be Tuesday, 11/14 at 7 p.m. If there be no further business, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
Motion by Tom,
Second.
second by Jerry. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you.
all.
Thank you.